Councillor Bryan.
Thanks, Chair. To adopt the precautionary principle with regards to alternative gas extraction is the absolute minimum we as a council can do to protect our residents from this highly damaging, unnecessary and unwanted industry. Countless peer-reviewed reports and studies from around the world, including research from our own bodies, have concluded all stages of alternative gas extraction, including the exploratory drilling stages, pose significant risk to wildlife, the climate and the people unfortunate enough to be around it. Earlier this year, MedAct, a charity made up of leading health professionals in the UK, alongside other medical bodies and the British Medical Journal, called for an immediate halt to shale gas extraction, citing potential health hazards associated with air pollution and water contamination. They expressed concern over negative health impacts associated with noise, traffic, spoilage of the natural environment and local social and economic disruption. The indirect effects of climate change produced by greenhouse gas emissions were also highlighted as concerns. Last month, United Nations toxicologist and legal advisor Dr Marilyn Lloyd-Smith warned Cheshire West Council that all stages of gas and oil extraction pose risks to our communities. Chemicals which are often found under the kitchen sink, as the industry say, such as benzenes, ethylbenzenes, naphthalines and toluenes, as well as the diesel fumes caused by heavy plant movement.
Point of order, Chairman. I'm not sure this is relevant to the motion. We're talking about planning considerations here.
This is highly relevant to the motion.
Decide,
sit down, Councillor Dane.
Will you both sit down?
Chairman, thank you.
Both sit down. What point of order in the Constitution are you raising? What number? So I can get.
I don't have it to hand, Chairman. I'm merely pointing out the fact that the comments being made by Councillor Bright are not relevant to the motion that before.
What I would ask you or any other member, if you raise a point of order, please give us the relevant point of order so that I can ask the monitoring officer to give us some guidance on it.
Under 5.1, sticking to the point of the motion, I'd also like clarification from the monitoring officer quite urgently in relation to this. If we are doing a policy, if we are debating something effective planning, and we need to make sure that we're not considered to have predetermined anything, I'm very concerned about a motion being seconded by a councillor who is quite clearly he has predetermined. He has
sit down, please. Sit down, please. You're not making a speech. You've told us what point of order. Thank you. I will now ask the monitoring officer to give me some guidance. So talk amongst yourselves. Okay. Right, thank you very much. I've received the guidance from the monitoring officer, and the Speaker is entitled to have some latitude to explain why his reasons why he wants the Constitution changed to make it a planning officer to deal with it, not a planning officer, but the planning committee, and so he's entitled. Whether he rules himself out in future of determining a planning application is irrelevant. That's up to him, and I think his views are known. So thanks very much for pointing out 5.1, Councillor Fifield, but I'm going to allow Councillor Bryan to continue, and I think you've probably got about a minute left. Minute and a half.
Thanks, Chair. But most at risk are our young children. In Australia, where the regulation is more robust and a 2-kilometre exclusion zone is in force, the coalbed methane industry has been operating for some 7 or 8 years, and the effects on their children are becoming apparent with clusters of ill health found around drilling sites. This was also mirrored in the USA with a report conducted by the University of Missouri, which found children born from mothers who had lived with 10 miles of a drilling site were 30% more likely to be born with a congenital heart defect. This was based on a sample of over 100,000 mothers. The Royal Academy of Engineers are perhaps the only reputable body in the whole of the UK who are not directly financed by industry, who have concluded that shale gas extraction could be conducted in a safe manner. What is often ignored, however, is how they reached their conclusion. At the time, they raised doubts about the funding adequacy of the agencies regulating the industry, but most importantly, they stated quite clearly that current regulations were inadequate. Worryingly, since the report was conducted, regulations have been further relaxed and the Environment Agency budget has been cut by more than 25%. What strikes me as unacceptable is that it's taken this long for our council, under the previous Conservative administration, to react to this threat and have allowed the industry to gain a foothold in our communities. And Councillor Holbrook and Councillor Dawson, you should hang your heads in shame. A phrase often thrown around at the moment is building on success. With regard to this subject and a number of others, I prefer picking up the pieces, which is why I'll be seconding this motion.
Councillor